Well, this is going to be pretty cool for me. This is a computer that I have since 2007. It's a mid-2007 24-inch iMac. This computer's been awesome for me. I mean, I've had absolutely zero problems with it. Even the hard drive that's in it now, it's an original Hitachi hard drive. Like I said, since 2007, and I have zero issues with it. But I did make the only modification I made to it is I added 4 gigabytes of RAM, which is essentially maxed out according to Apple's specs. But I'm sure online, from what I've read, apparently I can actually do 6 gigabytes in here, so I'll probably end up doing that. But tonight what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to replace the hard drive that's in here. It's a 320 gigabyte back in 2007. That's what they offered, and we all know today 320 gigabytes is really nothing. It's not a huge step up as gigabyte wise, but I'm going to go with a 500 gigabyte Samsung SSD drive. So this is supposed to make your computer load up things a lot quicker and everything. It's a solid state drive, so there's no moving parts or anything. And Samsung is throwing in a 5-year warranty on this drive. So yeah, hopefully it's gonna work out good for me, and it's gonna give me that performance boost that I'm looking for. Anybody knows that you go buy a new iMac today, and I like a big screen. If you go with a big screen, you don't really want to go backwards and go with a 20-inch. So if I was to buy a new iMac today, it would probably be a 27-inch. But anyway, I figure why not make this computer last as long as possible and throw in an SSD. Really increase the performance dramatically. Is what I'm hoping to get out of it, and get as many years as I can out of this. What I'm ultimately going to do with this computer eventually is, if I decide that I do want to get myself a new iMac, a 27-inch, for the office or something, I'll probably use this with a solid state drive and everything. It'll be plenty fast enough to look at stuff in my garage for working on cars and stuff like that, pulling up some manuals and some how-to information and whatnot. I think this computer would serve me great in the garage for looking up stuff online, maybe checking up some YouTube videos, Mitchell, whatever, for working on cars or whatever you need to do. Is just a good reference base here. So that's probably what I'll do with it eventually. But like I said, I can really extend the life of this computer, and it's so worth it. This computer, like I said, has been really, really good for me. So we're going to pop in an SSD. I'm going to take this all apart. I've never done it before. It's probably going to be a bit challenging, but I got a full box of tools in my toolbox, so I don't think I should run into anything that I can't get my hands into. So I'll stop the video here, and I'll start when I start popping off the screen and everything. I'll catch back up with you. So we'll see you in a minute. Okay, so the first thing I did was I got myself some containers, because I want to separate all the screws in this thing, and I'm going to label where the screws go, because there may be different sizes and stuff that go in particular places, and I don't want to drive the screw through the other side of the iMac if I can help it. So I'm going to organize it all up so every screw has its place, and it's going to go back in there. I'm going to use the suction cups and see if this works, that I used for the iPhone to take apart and change the battery. It should do the trick, and we'll see what happens. If not, I have another way to get the screen off. But I'm going to keep this area clean. I'll probably put the display on a towel and stuff, and I'll probably use gloves too to really minimize the chance of putting fingerprints on the LCD. So I'll bring you back in once I start. Okay, so I'm going to try taking off the display now. Oh yeah, this comes off so easy. Oh yeah, these magnets. You don't need to buy all those suction cups and everything else. It really came out like a piece of cake. So that was easy. And that's that. I'll give that a good cleaning after too, once I have it open. Okay. Now it looks like there's a bunch of Torx screws there, so I'll go ahead and take my Torx lever kit. T8. T8 is what it is. Okay. I'll put this in. Okay, I just want to show you that on this here, I noticed the screw is longer. So you have to be careful. All of these up top are the same size. As soon as I started going along the side, this one here is longer. So I'm going to actually take my marker here and put a little mark on it just so I know. That one there is going to be a long one. I'll keep it in with the display screws, but I'll remember to take note of that when I do it. So we'll see what this one's like. This one here is these here look like the same as the top, so that's okay. Same with that. Looks like it's only one that seems to be longer. Oh no, this one here too. So the two side ones there are longer. I'll mark that one too. In here. And I have the video also as reference, which is good. It's at the bottom of the display. This one's long too. Yep, that's long also. You're not going to see those marks after anyway, so. That one's different too. Okay. This one here has no threads all the way through. So have to remember that. I'll put 2 marks on this one. 2 marks, no threads. Another one that has no threads. So 2 with no threads are at the very bottom, middle. And I'll see the foot side one here. This is the last one. This is a regular one. Regular long. Yep, regular long. So I'll put 1 mark on that one. So that's that. Move this aside. I'm going to put some gloves on. Okay, I got some latex gloves on. I'm just going to try and bring this back. Okay, there's tape on this connector here for the camera, or this is a Wi-Fi, could be a Wi-Fi antenna. Probably going to set this down on the side, on its back. Okay, it looks like I'm going to have to remove the rain cover, so I'll get a small screwdriver. is catching on there. There we go, we got it. So now I have to remove the tape and the connector. Connectors taped together. Oh, they really taped that together. I can't do it with my gloves. Just going to cut the tape with a razor knife. Wow. They really put this tape on here. Okay, I got it off, but I still have to remove a lot of the tape that's on here, and I'll reinstall some new tape on it after. But boy, they really had that tape on there. Okay, so yeah, it looks like it's looks like it could be an antenna. I'm not sure. Boy, there's a lot of dust in here. Look at this. There's already some here. And there's some all in the fans. I'm going to pull the display off, and then I'll take it outside with a can of air, and I'll get into all of these fans and stuff. Get it all cleaned up. Okay, so I'm going to cover these screws and put it with the case. That's where it came from. Just put a label on there. Front case display. Cover. All right, let's see, how many do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more screws to get the display off. It's kind of nerve-wracking for me because this computer's been so good to me, and I don't want to risk breaking it in any way. So I've seen this tab here before, so that's going to come off. Those are for that. So let me find a number 6 in here. 9. Okay, so I took all 8 screws out around the display. So now the display is loose. There's going to be 2 more little screws that are right in here that I have to get out. They're T6 that I noticed. It's tabbed with a connector on it. So I'm going to get a little magnet too. I'm not sure if I should. I'll get tweezers. I want to put magnets around certain things. Okay, I got some tweezers. And boy, there's a lot of dust in here too. So I'm just going to use the tweezers to try and grab the screw out while I take it out so I don't lose it. My dog Dexter's in here wondering what the heck I'm doing. So these are small screws here. It goes with a tab. I'm going to lift up on it. Okay, that's been removed. There's another connector right here. Comes out. There's the drive. Let's see what else is here. Looks like there's some mylar tape. I think I'll go with that first. Take that out. Certainly a very well built computer, that's for sure. Okay, move that aside. There's a connector right here. I don't see why I should start pulling the screen out. If I could just get it to be propped up here, I can be fine. Okay, I got the display off, but it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. I ended up getting this out. I don't think I broke anything or anything, so we should be good to go. Okay, next I'll start removing the hard drive. made it look like it's just a tab here that I pushed down on, but it's not the case. I think I'm just going to remove the screws and do that. It's a temperature sensor and everything else too. So anyway, I'm going to go and dust this off. You can see there's quite a bit of dust there, so I'm going to take it outside and get it dusted. Okay. There's a lot of dust in here. Okay, I set up my compressor. I'm going to run it with this. It's going to give me more pressure. That can thing is just nonsense. There's no pressure at all. Okay, I'm back inside now. Everything is all pretty much cleaned up. Looking good now. So I'll go ahead and remove the drive. Put the screwdriver here. Small one here will do. Temperature sensor here. Okay, the drive is out. I'm going to move everything off of this and I'm going to put it on a bracket. There's a bracket that I bought with it. It's right here. And I'll transfer everything over. Right back. Okay, so the drive is out. Now I'm just going to transfer the 2 pins that are on this hard drive here and this bracket over to this this mount for an SSD, this adapter. So it's just a matter of removing the screws and transferring it over. So let's just see how the hard drive itself will fit in the bracket too. So. Wow, this thing is small. Incredible. Okay, so I want it in there like that. Okay, so I'm just going to go all over like this. And that should fit in there. So that's what I'll do. I'll go like that, I'll put all the screws in and that should do it. Okay, so I'm just going to test fit it in there now, just to make sure that we're okay. Looks like the temperature sensor is going to go up behind it. Yeah, we're looking good like that. The SSD should fall right into place right there. I have enough cable room, I hope. It might be tight, but maybe just. Okay, so I'm running into a little issue here. This adapter's fine and everything, but these cables here for the SATA and the power are just too short. So I'm going to call up Best Buy now, which is just down the road from me, and see if I can buy an extension cable for those and plug that in. Something told me I should have done that right from the get-go, but anyway, it's not a big deal. I'll just go down to the Best Buy and see if they have one. If not, there's a computer shop tomorrow on my way home. I can pick up some and put it in. So that's all I can do for now. I'll be back when I get the extension cable. Okay, well, I'm getting nowhere with Best Buy. I tried calling them and I tried calling another store and nobody's answering. And they're usually open till 9, so I don't know what's up with that. But what I'm going to do, I have a drill press beside me. I'm going to take the measurements of the holes and I'm just going to bring it down a little bit more, maybe over to the thing, and I'll get these cables to fit in like a glove. So I'll just modify the bracket and make some new holes to accommodate it. So no big deal. Okay, so I lined the hard drive up with the bracket and everything. I'm just going to trace the lines straight. I'm using a square here. So that way here I get a nice straight line. And that's it. And screw you, Best Buy. I'm going to give you some money tonight, but you won't answer your phones. So the heck with you, I won't waste my time. It's good. Gives me a reference. Got my drill bit all set up here. And I'm just going to go basically right beside the other one at the same height. I guess I could trace that too. Really have a bullseye. I'll go right like that. The other one's going to be right there. that's that. That'll work. Didn't have my drill bit tight enough in here. It's going to go a little tighter. That should do it. Nice and slow. That's one. Okay, and that's that. I'm just going to ream this out here a little bit. Thank you, Best Buy. Appreciate it. Okay, so I got the temperature sensor up behind here and attached to the SSD. Not that it's really going to create any heat or anything. I wouldn't think. It's just a solid state drive, but I don't want the fan going on for nothing, and I don't know about jumping it or anything, so I'm just going to stick it there and see what happens. The way I got the bracket lined up, the power and everything just works nicely now. So just plug that in, put everything back together, and the SSD is installed. That's it. Okay, I'm going to stick it all back together now. Got the temperature sensor and everything taped up, so just a matter of lining this all up now and getting it back together. Let me get my chair. Move you guys over here. Hopefully that works. Piece of plastic that fell in there. I have to get it out. Okay. Plug in this one now. Okay, that looks pretty plugged in there. I'm going to put this tape back on here. Mylar tape. Okay, that looks good. Make sure that's plugged back in. There's a temperature sensor. Plug back in here. That inside between the fan here. That's what it was. Okay. All plugged back in. That looks good. Everything seems to line up. Put my small little screws back in. T6. All in all, it didn't take that long to do. We'll find out if all of this pays off and it works. Sure it will. We'll see. If not, you know, I could always buy another computer. And that would be that. But I'm sure it's all going to work out. I'll get it working. Not the end of the world if it doesn't, though. I'll just order my next iMac with a Fusion drive. 27-inch with Fusion drive. That's what I would do. So, no big deal. Display is really nice and clean. So I'll keep it that way. Got some overspray from the can on the display. Try and wipe that off. Okay, so that was no big deal. I took a glass cleaner, really small chamois type cloth, wiped that off, and I used my compressor that doesn't seem to have water in it. These cans are nonsense with water in it and everything, so I just figured I would buy the right thing that was supposed to be, but I think my compressor's better. There, that's what I got. Use that for flooring and finishing molding and stuff like that. So that works really good. Alright, I'm just going to stick in the rest of the screws and put everything back together. Okay, the display is all back on, the LCD. I'm just going to give it another quick cleaning here. may as well get it perfect, because once the cover is on, I'll see through it and I'll see all these little spots on the screen. So that looks good. So I put the aluminum casing back over. The screen is back in. I put black tape around the two wires that were over here with the connector, so that's fine with that. And I put the two long screws here where my marks are. And there's another, these two here are the two long screws that have no threads. And then wherever I have a mark is going to be a long screw along with the regular screws. So go ahead and put that together for the front case. These long screws go right here where the two marks are. And I'll actually blow the screen off one more time before I put the panel on it. And then we'll fire it up. I've got a USB 3.0 stick with El Capitan loaded on it. It's bootable. So we're going to boot into that. We're going to do a clean install. And then I'm going to take my external hard drive and I'll back up, I'll restore some of my photos and videos and stuff like that on there. And I'll reinstall fresh all the applications that I had on there. And that should be it. Be like a new computer. Alright, so here's the good news. I just got out of here's the good news. I just got out of Disk Utility, and now I'm going to install El Capitan on here. So the display and everything is working. Agree to the terms. Agree. It's going to ask me which just to install it on. I'm going to put it on Macintosh HD, which is the SSD. 499.76 gigabytes available. Hit install, and that's it. She's working. I'll show you once we boot it all up after the install. Okay, so far so good. Transferring stuff over from the Time Machine on my external backup drive over there. So yeah, it's a clean install, but I'm just transferring over some documents and settings and stuff like that. So I'll reinstall some of the applications and whatnot, and it should make it for a pretty clean clean computer after that, meaning it should run a little quicker. I'm just going to be careful what I install in here, but mostly I just wanted back my videos and pictures and stuff like that, so I'll just re-download everything else that I need, and I'll show you the performance after it's done.